Hi everybody, it's Ross Cook from the Center of Balance and Effective Communication. Welcome. Let's today talk about energy usage, and not just energy management and self-management. If you're the manager of yourself, sometimes our energy sort of gets away from us. And let's discuss that just real simply. What do I do to do it slightly differently? What are signs that maybe I need to do some energy work that's different than we normally would do it today? Let's say, for instance, I'm wanting to do some exercise and I'm wanting to take, square A, pick it up, move it over here to square B in the space. So we're just going to move this over to there. That's a very simple task. It's something that's well within our scope to do. But what do we do time and time and time again? As often as not, we might then, I know one of my big ones is, I might have to worry about whether I'm going to do it perfectly, or what somebody else might think. What would my family think if I were to pick this up and move it over there? Someone else might think, what of my peers? And we've all had different times of our life when our peers were maybe a little bit more important than they are other times in our lives. So I'm going to pick something up from here and move it over there. But there's a lot of energy being expended on what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and the judgment that goes with it. Not only the perception of how am I going to do it the best or whatever. Did anybody say it has to be the best? The best of what? The best of all time, the best you've ever done it, the first time. And sometimes there's some traps. We've often said to our kids, did you do your best? Did you do your best today? And the child might think, well, I don't know, during study hall, I took 5 minutes off and I thought about this with my friends. And I kind of goofed off and told some jokes about, this or that or the other. Or I thought, Cindy Lou Who was pretty cute today. So I was like off task for a little while over there. Well, that's all part of it. What is the best? It's so important in energy management that you have things that are reasonable that you aim your energy at. What's good enough? Is it good enough? Is it good enough today? Is it the best it's ever been? It's vital that you end up with things that you know what it is you're attempting to move toward. Now, do you have to know the end? No. Probably best if you don't, because then you want to have all the possibilities help you with the end goal, the end destination you're going to. So it's vitally important that you have that. But in some structure, I don't want to just be like, have nebulous things in front of me, because let's take it to things that we know more about. How much is enough love? Well, I'm loved by my parents. How much is enough? Well, if I'm working at enough areas there aren't any real crystalline answers as to how much is enough. So that has to become an inward journey of when do I feel perfect about flow of love. That's my decision. That's not moving A to B or something between my parents. That's a decision of how it resonates with me. So you have to become self-centered in some senses and understand the gradients you're using in your life to measure what's enough. Back to moving the squares. If I go to move this block A to B, what I'm really doing is I'm not real careful. If this is an exhaustive thing for me, that's the first sign that you need to look for help. You need to start learning to journey or do it differently, because I'm using enough energy if I'm worrying or stressing or not knowing it's good enough, or I'm shooting toward a nebulous goal. If I'm doing those kind of things, I don't know how much is enough. I don't know what is good enough. And if I move it, I've now used 10 times more energy than it would take just to do the task. Just do the task. And I think this is what they're talking about when they say have a beginner's mind. A beginner's mind isn't one that's cluttered with all these things. You just begin and go, and then you're going to attract what you need as you go forward. And that's vitally important in breaking through to new things. Keeping a beginner's mind, staying clear. If you're exhausted or worn, it's because maybe you're using more energy than you need to do given tasks. Go within, figure out what is also present and using a lot of energy when you're attempting to do what are basic tasks throughout your day. Just basic tasks. Am I being run ragged? Am I attempting to please people? Okay? No. Let's be a little self-centered and learn to know what your values are and how they resonate first within you, and then how they begin to affect the world outside. Use some clarity in knowing and policing and cleaning your values so you know and you become your own proof source for what's good and what's solid and what's real. Okay? And you'll find if you're doing that, then you'll just act and do things efficiently. You won't waste 10 times more energy prior to attempting to do a task that you could have used and done the task and moved well on beyond into the world of possibility, or done something else, and you won't be exhausted at all. Okay? It's about energy management. It's about energy usage. So be mindful of how you are using your energy as you go through this world. I'm Ross Cook with the Center of Balance and Effective Communication. I hope you have a magical day today, and that magic will help you do things slightly differently. And I hope you have an efficient day, that you're not exhausted all day, that you're in flow and you're honoring yourself. I'm Ross. We'll talk again soon. And until we do, Jomo, everybody.